Hey everybody, welcome back. These are some fiancés that were caught cheating.
Hot. Gotcha.
Get ready with me while I share how I found out that my ex-fiance was cheating on me with men. Taking it back to the beginning of our relationship, we both went to college for theater and had a lot of friends in the LGBTQ community. At our school, even for people who considered themselves straight, it was still pretty common for people to still experiment. And I just casually asked him if he ever had, to which he was super defensive and basically was like, no, I would never do that. And it was just a little too defensive, you know? And throughout our entire relationship, there were whispers about him at school, but ultimately I decided I didn't really care because I had already asked him, he gave me an answer, and also he was with me, so it didn't really matter who else he could possibly be interested in.
Okay.
Fast forward, we had broken up, and it wasn't for cheating, but I did find out about a few people that he had been cheating on me with. And I had been told that he had had an inappropriate text relationship with two of my guy friends, which was obviously hurtful to me because they were my friends. So I basically texted him and said, explain yourself. To which he replied, and I will never forget this, ew, that's disgusting. I am not gay, I am not bi, I am not anything other than absolutely positively straight. Which just screams not straight.
That's quite gay.
Right? But like I said, we weren't together anymore, so it just wasn't worth fighting about and I dropped it. But then years later, I was in a show and I started to get pretty close to one of my castmates. I get to that point where it's like, oh my God, I can't believe we don't have each other's phone numbers. You should text me. Oh, backstory. While my ex and I were together, I had broken my phone and he lent me one of his old phones while I was waiting for a new one, and our contacts synced up during that time. So even though I didn't have his phone anymore, I still had some of his contacts moving on. So I tell this guy to text me, I give him my number, and his name pops up in my phone as an existing contact.
It already saved.
And I immediately remember why that would happen. And I was like, oh my gosh, do you know my ex's name?
Jonathan?
And he was like, oh, I know him. So I was like,
oh, the tea.
explain.
Ooh.
And basically, he explained with proof that him and a couple of other guys helped my ex experiment.
Oh.
While he was dating me. So
No.
while he was engaged to me. He married the girl who he started dating right after me. So for her sake, I hope he got all of his experimenting out of the way. And cheating in general.
There's more where that came from.
Anyway, moral of the story, and basically every story I share on here, trust your gut.
Trust your gut indeed, baby girl. It's the homophobia for me. I find that men that are comfortable with their masculinity are not usually homophobic. And I'm generalizing perhaps. But why you gotta be offended about it, you know? Why is that so offensive to you? What's that movie? American Beauty? Yeah, that's what it makes me think of. I love how you gave him an out too. He had plenty of chances to tell you and he chose not to. He chose to continue with the relationship, cheat behind your back, be engaged to you. We don't love this for you, babes. We don't. As you said, I hope he got all the cheating and experimenting out of the way, or at the very least, I hope he's honest with himself going forward.
We're all homos, homo sapiens.
And maybe that's a part of his new relationship, but clearly he might be a little uncomfortable with that part of himself, which is okay. Just don't bring other people into it, you know what I mean? Don't leave a trail of destruction in your wake because you can't be honest with yourself about who you are. Also, side note, did anybody else get really surprised that her contour ended up looking super fucking seamless? Look how dark this contour is. I was like, girl, that is not gonna work. And it did work. Her makeup looks flawless.
Oh man.
If you trust your boyfriend and or fiance, let me tell you why maybe you shouldn't. And that just because you're engaged doesn't necessarily mean that person's gonna be loyal to you. So one of my followers is recently engaged and she really wanted me to do a loyalty test on her fiance.
Get a life, dweeb.
She wanted me to go to his job and see if I can get his phone number. Clearly I did, but these screenshots got very disturbing. So I said, hey, it's Allie. I gotta make up my fake name. I told them just plugged in my phone because, again, people ask me all the time. I literally tell them my phone died. Hence why I have them write on a piece of paper. And he was like, oh, I'm glad. I asked him how his day was going and he told me that it's been pretty boring and it was much better when I was there. So I'm going along wrong with the flirting? Is that so? Then he says, I haven't seen a woman as beautiful as you in a long time. Sir, you are engaged. You asked a woman to marry you less than 72 hours ago.
Whoa.
I digress. So at this point, I basically told his fiance, like, do you even want me to continue? She was like, yes, but then it got worse. I said, thank you. He asked me, do you have Instagram? It might be better if we message over there. I said, actually, I don't, but why would it be better? He said, I delete my messages out of my phone for storage. Sir, try again. I said, oh yeah, no IG though. Then I brought up the fact that I literally saw his engagement ring when he gave me his number. So I said, I noticed you had an engagement ring on. I'm kind of surprised you gave me your number. This man said, it's from my wife who passed away. No. I still wear it though. I don't know. Kind of weird, probably.
Yeah.
At that point, his fiance was like, that's enough. She has yet to tell me what she's going to do. I think she's going to bring it up to him. I suggested and gave her my advice of cancel the wedding. Throw the man away. That was my own tip to her. So even if you get your boyfriend to get down on one knee, that does not mean he's going to be loyal to you. Someone is going to be loyal to you if they want to. Forcing them into a commitment is not going to guarantee them.
Is anybody else just like afraid of like love? Mike, if you ever see this is what will happen to you if you ever cheat on me. He wouldn't, because he knows what would happen. Listen, if you just want to be out here playing the field, spreading the seed, so to speak, by all means do it. But don't propose to somebody and make them think that you're the only person you want to spend the rest of your life with. It makes me wonder if like they would actually go through with it, or if they're just like testing the waters to like see if they can still do it. Or do I still got it? You know, this hot babe's hitting on me. I'm just gonna entertain it. Would they actually do it? Hopefully not. But the fact that they're entertaining it is still cheating. The only appropriate response, if you are in a relationship or engaged or married to someone hitting on you, is I have a girlfriend. I have a boyfriend. The only appropriate response to someone hitting on you when you are in a relationship is back the off. Block.
Step off.
Done. Finito. If you're still entertaining it, you still kind of think that you're single.
Met this man on a dating app. We got along. Let's go out to dinner, right? Now, before I go on any date, I check him out online. So I was looking up his social medias. Didn't find anything. Literally, he had accounts, but he only had one picture posted and just wasn't really active on any of his accounts. So he takes me on a date to this nice restaurant, and it was a decent date, okay? Now, he told me that he was divorced, but something felt a little bit off, and little Freudian slips just kind of seemed like he wasn't actually divorced. He was still married, and he was not wearing a ring, by the way. But since I kept getting little snippets and clues that made me feel like something was off, I knew that I was going to go home and dig further on this man. And if I'm ever involved with someone who has come to me as a single man and I find out they're not single, I'm going to let the woman know. Maybe you wouldn't do it.
As you should.
This is me. I feel it's the right thing to do.
You go, girl.
So after the date, I went home and I dug a little bit deeper on this man. And with the help of my friend, we found out he was married and found his wife on Instagram. Her profile picture was him and her at their wedding ceremony. Beautiful, okay? I messaged her and I said, is so-and-so your husband? Now, obviously, it looks like they're married. They're in the profile picture together. And in her bio, it says that she is his wife. But what if they recently got divorced and she just hadn't changed her bio yet? I wanted to hear it from her that they were actually still married. She replied within 7 minutes and said, yes, that's my husband. And I told her that I had just went on a date with him. She responded back with a bunch of questions. I answered everything she asked, and she was just so sweet and so grateful that I had found her and told her. Now, this was a couple of months ago. Let's fast forward to yesterday. She reached out to me and thanked me again and told me she had done some investigating and found out that he had been seeing many other women. She said she reached out to 6 of them, meaning there were more than 6, but she was able to reach out to 6 of them, and they would not talk to her. I already know y'all are gonna come back with, well, I wouldn't have responded to her either. It's none of my business. I don't wanna be in the middle of it. But for me, I think she had a right to know. This is not just something that y'all see in a Lifetime movie. This is happening in real life to everyday people. I talked to her for a while. She was in a very happy marriage. There was no cause for concern, no red flags. And all the while this was happening. This man lied straight to my face and told me he had been divorced for 6 months when actually he had been married for 6 months. This man even lied about his birthday, not the year he was born to make himself appear older or younger. He lied about the date of his birth. Why do you need to lie about that? And something else. So his wife told me they were both vegetarian. When he was with me, he ate a big old 12-ounce steak.
Well, there's your problem.
On a serious note, I'm not telling y'all to never date, to never fall in love, to never trust anyone. Be conscious that these things can literally happen to anyone. And if you're seeing signs of infidelity or you have that gut-wrenching feeling that something is off, it probably is. Let's talk about this in the comments. Would you want to know if your husband was seeing other women?
Yeah, I would. I would want to know. And if I found out that the person that I was seeing was also seeing somebody else or married to somebody else, yeah, I'm gonna tell her. I just don't get it. Why the need for the double, triple life? Does it make people feel good to stomp all over people's hearts and sneak around and lie? Does that make people feel good?
Makes me feel good.
What does it prove?
I'm going full douche.
That you're a shitty person? Does that make you feel good that you can get away with hurting people? Yeah, you should be embarrassed. Find a real hobby. One that doesn't involve other people's lives and hearts. Futures. Let's leave that out of it.
I have been waiting for someone to finally comment this so I can give a story time. So our marriage and relationship was fine. I had nothing to go off of. He was really, really good at lying, and like he would send pictures of him out with his friends on nights that he would cheat on me. So he was really good at what he did in covering his tracks.
Yeah.
But something just felt like a little off, like there was like some sort of emotional disconnect maybe. It was just like a gut feeling. I really had no proof to go like looking for anything. What I did was I didn't want to be like, give me your phone, because then I would raise suspicion. I gave him my old Apple Watch and I bought myself a new one because I knew that he was not going to be smart enough to delete the messages off his watch after he deleted them off his phone. I'm sure he probably assumed that if he deletes them off his phone, then they would delete off his watch.
They don't.
But they don't. So
don't.
then I saw a text to a woman's name that I didn't know, and it was like, hey, I'm in the city. Do you want to meet up? By the way, this is so-and-so. We met like 16 months ago. And I was like, that's a really weird message to be sending to a woman that I don't know, and I was in complete denial at first. I was really just like, there has to be some sort of logical explanation for this, but there wasn't. He was sleeping with this random woman, and she actually declined his invitation that night.
Oh, period. Good.
So he didn't go. He came home to me instead, which is really funny because I have like screenshot like timestamps of everything, and it's all very traumatizing and sad. I laugh about it because that's the only way I know how to cope. So when I first found out about her, he only told me about this one situation. He did not tell me about all of the others, so we were in therapy for a very long time. If you want like the whole story, I can do like a multi-part series on this. Like, it's a wild ride.
I feel like if they're really, really good at it, it means that they've had practice. Imagine your flex, like your claim to fame in life is, oh man, I've got a special talent. It's cheating on people I love. God, I am just so good at it. These women are out here really, really thinking that they're my only one. It's so funny to me. That's not a flex, babe. You're embarrassing yourself. You're embarrassing your mom, okay? Let's see what your mom has to say about this, because something tells me she ain't gonna be too happy with how she raised you. She ain't gonna take the blame for that. She be like, I can't believe you came out of me, you pieces of shit. You come out of me too.
Same girl. Same.
The Apple Watch, eh? That's a good one. Because can confirm, you gotta go and delete the messages on every single device. They still come in. You block somebody's number on one device, you gotta block it on the other device and delete the message. Don't ask me how I know that. I just got a text from someone I really didn't want a text from and blocked them. And then when I went on my computer, it was still there. If he only put half the effort into the relationship that he did in sneaking around, like literally, are you just like that unhappy? Because like relationships take work. It just takes so much effort. Like why? All the effort that you have to put into lying and cheating, you could put all that toward your relationship and be a very, very happy person. Unless of course you enjoy the lying and the sneaking around and the hurting people you love, in which case go off, king or queen.
I went to Mexico for my bachelorette party, and that day I got home, one of my friends called me. She was like, I gotta tell you something. And she said that one of our mutual friends saw my fiance at the time on Bumble. There was a profile all these pictures, whatever. She sends me a screen recording of it, and I was like, okay, that's super weird. I immediately didn't want to believe that it was him, but there was a photo on there that is not on his social media, so that really got me right away. So I obviously called him over, and I showed it to him, and I was like, what is this? You want to just explain? Because I literally already caught you. And he straight up denied it for like hours in front of me and my sister.
There's literally a screenshot.
And I was like, okay, this makes no sense. Like, it's clearly you. Just admit it. And he swore like on his family and like on everything.
Embarrassing.
He was like, that's not me, and I'm gonna prove it to you. Because I was like, okay, you need to leave. Like, I don't even know what's going on. So the next day, he was like, I emailed Bumble. I'm trying to figure out like who's using my photos and all this stuff. It was like super chaotic. And then fast forward like a little bit, he sent me a screenshot of messages between him and his friend. And he was going back and forth, accusing this guy of making the Bumble profile of him. And in the end of it, the guy admits it. And he was like, yeah, whatever, like, hope you get what's coming for you or something. And so there was like previous beef between these two. And so I was like, oh, like this guy just like wants us to break up or whatever. So, okay, like this is exactly like where this profile came from. I believed it, and I was like, oh, this, like, thank God, like, and I would have like left it at that. My friend was like, this is still super weird. I really think you need to look into it more, because how would this guy get these pictures of him because they're not on his social media? So I said this to my fiance at the time, and he flipped out on me and was like, I can't do this right now. Like, I can't believe you don't believe me. I just proved it to you that it's not me. And I was like, okay, we need to meet in person and talk about this because this is crazy. He came over, but before he did, I texted somebody who knows this guy who was texting him, and I got his number. So that then, when I saw my fiance, I could compare the numbers and see if it's the same. Because if it wasn't, I was like, this is crazy. Because he literally is having somebody text and pretend to be somebody and make this like fake conversation. So, turns out it was not the same guy. It was somebody else from his work who did essentially that. Fake texted, made this whole conversation, and it was literally insane. And that's when I really caught him in the lie, and I was like, you better start talking. Like, this is crazy. And he actually left. Like, he didn't even say anything, so.
Well, he probably just went to go leave and think up some more lies and ways to, like, you know, not get caught. Imagine someone reaches out to you and they say, hey man, I got caught cheating. My fiance knows. Would you mind faking a conversation so that I can lie to her again and continue cheating?
Oh, yeah, sure, yeah, well, no problem, I got you, buddy, like...
They're in it together. Do they trash with you?
And I was like, you better start talking because this is crazy. So he finally admits it, and he was like, yes, that's me, like, that's my profile. And I was like, okay, more details. It was like pulling teeth. Like, he would not even, like, say anything. I just had to keep asking him questions, and I could tell that he was being hesitant and thinking on them. And now that I look back at it, he was really just continuing to think of these lies, because everything that he was saying to me at this moment was also lies. He wasn't admitting anything. So he told me that he was on Bumble just for this 1 month of July. He was like, you're never around, like you're always leaving.
Oh,
you never want to
brother.
come hang out with me and my friends. So I just been feeling really lonely. And he played this whole victim card on me, and I was like, where is this coming from? Like, you haven't even said anything to me. I don't even understand. Like, and so it was this whole thing. This was all on Monday, and fast forward through Monday, we like meet up with our marriage counselors because I was like, okay, maybe we can work through this. I obviously didn't know if I could trust him, but we were supposed to get married in 2 months, and I was really just trying to like figure it out. The next day, I didn't talk to him at all. I was like, I don't want to hear from you. Like, I just need to figure this out on my own. I need to know if I should say, or if we can work this out, or if I should just be like, no. So then I told him, though, we need to be completely transparent, and I don't like that I don't have access to anything because now I can't trust you. So he sends me a list of his passwords, and I was like, cool. Wednesday morning, I woke up with like an extreme urge to check his email, and I was just like, I need to. Woke up, literally logged into his email right away. I typed in Bumble, all the notifications scroll back to 2019 to when we first started dating. They were continuous throughout all the months that we were together. All the notifications, it was messages, it was swipes, it was a subscription to get his name out there more. It would always say, welcome back, and it was his name, it was his middle name. He had all these different accounts the whole time that we were together. So I texted him and I was like, I know you've been cheating on me the whole time. We've been together, like, we're done. That's it. So
Good girl.
Yeah. And then at that point, when we met up that night to like finalize and end things, he told me he never hung out with anybody. He only messaged girls. And I was just like, okay, that seems really like sketch. I don't believe that. And then just recently I found out from somebody that he told that he was sleeping around and was with girls the whole time we were together. So
and the lies
that was
and the
super
lies.
awesome. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, dude, you almost married a pathological liar. Good. Almost. Keyword almost. Listen, it's up to you guys. Catch your partner cheating. If you want to try and work on it, by all means, Beyonce did it. Hillary Clinton did it. But like, you're never gonna be able to look at them the same way again. You want to know my opinion? To the trash! To the garbage with you! To the bin where you belong! Always trust your gut, ladies. It's never wrong. Never. Subscribe!